Hey everybody, it's Rob from Flailthroughs. This is Gundam Battle Operation 2, and this is a request from Ryan, who wanted me to do the Gimm Kamath in the colors of the space version of the Graze from Iron-Blooded Orphans. I think I got it fairly well. Naturally, very different body type, the limited color option, so I couldn't map it quite perfectly, but I feel like having the silver on the back of the legs like that kind of gets the whole, the aesthetic of the Graze fairly well. But I went with a machine gun because I don't believe the Graze had a long-range rifle, but it did have a machine gun and a bazooka, if I read correctly. So, yeah, in Iron-Blooded Orphans, I watched a little bit of the start of, but just never managed to finish. That's been the case for me with a lot of modern Gundam shows. It's just on me. There's a lot of stuff I want to get around to watching that I haven't done yet. But, Camouf runs very differently, of course, with a machine gun instead of the long-range rifle. For one thing, you are up in there, which means that, when you're not firing, your camouflage is possibly a little bit more useful. But it can still be hard to really use effectively. Tag that person, thinks somebody else got the kill. But as you can see from that one that just changed colors, I'm not the only Gimm Kamath here. Looks like the enemy team just dropped a member. But yeah, it's fun to use though, and it's been a while, since I used it with anything but its rifle. So I thought it was worth a shot, and I'm about to die. Yep, because there's not much you can do at 200 hit points or less. But yeah, it's not bad at this cost with this weapon. That anti-ship rifle is just a little bit, it's too good not to use most of the time. So you very rarely see a Camouf or a Zuda running anything else. So that's this is since I do like to spotlight different weapons, that's a nice touch too. And just waiting for the invulnerability to end, and it has, and they're dead. And that's half the game sometimes, just waiting for invulnerability to end, knowing when someone is likely to end it, all those things. But let's see, somebody's back here. They're getting their mobile suit. Oh yeah, I think I'm not sure, but I think I've been kind of just cautiously looking around like this because I think the Graze pilot may have ejected. I'm not 100% sure. But just seemed to have a little trouble figuring out what I was doing next, which, true to life, if nothing else. Yeah, we kind of do need to bunch up, though. Graze is back, so pretty sure it did have its pilot in it when it dropped. And I'm actually calling it Graze instead of Gaza-C. Call it a victory. And yeah, machine guns do pretty well against those. Those fuel tanks, I believe, have damage reduction, though, so you have to watch where you're aiming to get the best possible damage out of it. And if I'd done a side swing, which I believe I meant to, I probably would have killed them instead of vice versa. It's a problem I've been having a lot lately. I'm pretty sure it's just me being imprecise, which is that I'm getting down swings when I mean to get side swings, just because I think I'm just pulling too far back on the stick, because I'm kind of trying to back up and turn around at the same time, so it just doesn't quite work. We've got number 4 there is about to plant the bomb. I don't know how well that'll work, but it's worth a try, I guess. Since we're a member down, having them, offsides is not really too terrible, because that kind of evens out the general battle. But yeah, I feel bad that the enemy team was down a person, but they're managing to keep up, as you can see. So we're not the best organized we could be at the moment. We're getting a little bit better. We're grouping up a little bit more, but we've kind of been all over the map. And again, I can be kind of fragile here, I think, when the Graze gets on me, so that's kind of a thing. Do have that giant shield, though, so I just need to position it a little bit more carefully. A whole bunch of buffs happened this week. The G3 Gundam and the G-05 Gundam both got the level 2 maneuver armor. G3 also got a slight damage buff to its beam rifle, so I'm looking forward to giving that a try. They buffed a couple other things too. They did some nice changes to the Zagak, which now has a little bit of aim assist on its missiles, and the Zagak E got some improvements to its mega particle cannon. So yeah, the whole list, if you look at this week's update video, the one for the Super Gundam, and man, I want the Super Gundam, you will be able to get to the thread where Yao Yao 9 lays it all out. And yeah, it is, there's been some good and interesting changes this week that I want to explore a little bit more. They also refined the Zuda F's version of the rifle, the sniper rifle, and that's something I definitely want to take a closer look at, because they did a fairly major overhaul on that, as best I can tell, and I want to give it a try. But let's see, trying to pick a target. We've got a substantial lead now. Because they couldn't really afford to peel off and protect their base, you know, the bomb went off. We got the advantage of that. We've got a 2,000 point lead here, so that's probably about it, especially since they are spawn staggered, which, you know, happens. You know, when I recorded this, because I tend not to, I tend not to try and save complete stomps anymore. I try to go for, interesting rounds where I do well without the other team necessarily doing poorly. Something just more interesting, more of a challenge. I'm not sure I even noticed that the one team member disconnected until the end here, because generally, like I said, this is not the kind of thing I try and save anymore. Of course, I had a couple of really bad rounds trying to do this, because, again, this is not the optimal way to use the Gimm Kamath, so it's a thing. So, yep, and I just got draw seed again, and it's probably going to be able to finish me off. No, not quite, but, yeah, so, like I said, this isn't the kind of thing I usually save anymore, but it's a round that worked out fairly well for me, so I went with it. Like I said, I honestly forgot that person disconnected. And draw C got me again. And draw C player's doing really well, again, it's just really hard to overcome being a member down. Especially in this map, which is like really compressed, so it's hard to just peel one or two enemies off and isolate them and kill them, which is pretty much the best way to try and make up a difference like this. Because if you can focus one enemy and then deal with the rest while the other people are waiting to respawn, if you can get them spawn staggered a little bit, that can work out. But it doesn't always work. Got the assist on the draw C this time. Yeah, 3-on-1. They are spawn staggered, which, and we're not, so that's another problem. Yeah, honestly, just full respect to the people who stayed for this, because this is turning pretty one-sided here. And 10 seconds left. We have obviously got this in the bag. Let's see, I think that's the other Camouf, and will we be able to finish it? I don't think so. Nope, but close. Or did we? Nope, not quite, so. But yeah, pretty good round for us. Again, feel bad about that person who disconnected. Thank you to everyone else who stayed. Very kind of you. 1,810 points. That's decent in a 200-point room. What's that amount to? 6 kills, 3 deaths. Yeah, so that is going to do it for today's Gundam Battle Operation 2. We will be back soon with more, so till next time, everybody take care and have fun. Later! As luck would have it, this is not going to be the only purple space mobile suit with a machine gun you're going to see this week. I've got another request to fill that's very similar, and you'll be seeing it come up probably by the end of the week, yeah.